I want to keep us on time. So the other thing to keep in mind when we're thinking about marketing, our own marketing profile, is the amount of paperwork that we're comfortable doing or having done for us. And one of the things that has happened at Morning Owl Farm is as we've moved from being a small CSA to a larger CSA to having a year-round CSA now to selling 12 months out of the year, 52 weeks out of the year, I have found the amount of time I have to spend at my desk has grown exponentially, to the extent now that we've really had to redefine our roles on the farm, and I've had to hire a field manager because I couldn't do it all. So every once in a while, I don't have a cat. I have a Kubota tractor that I like to use to organize my paperwork. But every once in a while, you just have to clean house, and you have to sit down, and you have to spend some time really organizing yourself. And one of the things that I want to recommend that everybody try to do, and I don't have a slide for this, and don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time on it, but I do want to say this, that as you think about marketing and increasing the reach of what you're doing, think very hard about putting in place systems that can keep you organized, that make sense to you ahead of time rather than after. And I'll just give you one quick example of that. For instance, we have used Excel to keep our books for years and years and years. And the main reason for that is that I looked into things like QuickBooks. I really didn't have the money to do them. But I look now at the amount of time that I spend on using inferior software to do things like just keeping the books for the farm. And I've begun to think that was one of the dumbest mistakes I've made as a farmer and as an organizer, actually, because I've wasted and I continue to waste hours using something that really isn't designed for its purpose. So I want to just say that ahead of time here. And later I'll talk a little bit about some of the ways that you might be able to organize yourself for marketing better too. Okay, so we're going to move on. Michael Taylor is, I think, Cinda, you can help me out here if your microphone's open, or give a nod to Melissa and she can say so. I think Michael's a Washington State University associate professor, and at any rate stole this from her on what Michael says marketing is. It's anticipating the needs and wants of targeted customers and managing the process through which these needs and wants are profitably satisfied. And I like that very much, because I like the fact that Michael pushes the idea of profitably satisfied. In a more simple way to think about it, though, is I like to think of it as letting folks know what it is you have and getting it to them. Really straightforward. Now, we were going to show you a video tonight, but we're not. Well, I guess we are going to go ahead and try it, but I want to say up front, this is a bit of an experiment, and it may not work. And so, Melissa, I think you're going to tell me if it does, right?
That's right. I'll tell you. I'm here. I'll tell you.
There you are. There you are. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, here we go.
Mary, the volume is, I can barely hear him. Barely hear him. He's imperceptibly. He's soft, but I can hear him. Very low, though.
I cannot hear him, and he's kind of jerky.
All right. Well, we're going to pass on that, and I apologize that didn't work. Somebody's mic might be up in the background because I'm getting a little feedback. So, Melissa, maybe turn your volume down, or someone turn theirs down. Well, what I wanted that clip to talk about was direct marketing a little bit, but we can do that with the slide here. When we talk about direct marketing, of course, we're talking about taking the middle people out and generally going from the farm directly to the eater. So one of the issues that is important, I think, as we think about direct marketing is that we are not mass marketing. We're not Walmart. We're not Albertsons. We're not Huckleberries. We're not trying to reach, everybody that's driving by or everybody that's hungry. We're looking for a specific market of people who are interested in what it is that we do. Okay? Now, indirect marketing, I think one of the reasons why I asked what your interest is in people earlier on in one of the polling questions is that it's very much a relationship-focused form of marketing. And it's one of the reasons why I think a lot of us do enjoy it, actually, because it allows us to not only do what we do and enjoy the farming and the ranching part of it, but to connect directly with people. As direct marketers, we're always going to have to focus on service and quality. There's just no two ways around that. If people are going to be looking you in the eye and getting to talk to you about what they buy from you, then if you can't provide service, if you can't provide quality, then you shouldn't be doing it. So why do we do it? It allows us to get more money for what we do. It allows us the joy sometimes of creating a new niche. In my case, I remember several years ago I decided that I wanted to get ducks and I wanted to sell their eggs. So I went to a mentor of mine, Janie Burns, and I asked her what she thought the likelihood was that I could actually sell eggs in the Boise area. And she said, well, Mare, try it. Just see what happens. And I took that as a challenge, and so I did. And we went from a dozen ducks in 2004 to about 212 ducks in 2012. And we have absolutely created not only a niche, not only an egg market for our duck eggs, or a market for our duck eggs, we've kind of created a monster. We can't keep up with it. We don't have enough land to have enough ducks to even meet the demand that we've now created. So yeah, sometimes you got to be careful of that, but I have to tell you, it's one of the most rewarding things that I've done as a farmer, is to introduce a brand new product that most people in my area had never had before. So that's why we direct market. Now, so you're really sure that you want to do this. Well, you have to ask yourself if you're the right person to do it. You have to ask yourself if you like to follow trends. Sometimes some of us as farmers take pride on kind of being in the background, maybe not keeping up with what's on television, maybe not necessarily knowing what's going on in popular culture, but I think if you want to be a good marketer, it's very valuable to be in touch with what's happening culturally, even if you don't like it. And I think knowing, for instance, who the food editors are of our major newspapers is not necessarily a bad thing, because what they write about is what people are going to start to eat. Being willing to look through the food magazines when you're at the grocery store, watching the Food Channel occasionally on TV, all of those things are useful places for us to gather information. Are you proud of what you do? Because if you're not, you're probably not going to be the best person to market what you do. There are a few other considerations. Do you have money? Budgeting is not something you can do on the cheap, and it's not something you can do for free. It's one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen farmers make, is that they think if they make it, they build it, they grow it, it'll sell itself. I'm here to tell you it won't. Do you have time to do it? As I mentioned earlier on, as our farm has increased in size, it hasn't really increased in size, but what we do has increased. The number of things that we're involved in has increased. The amount of time that I take in marketing now is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 hours a week, and that's over a day of labor that's gone to that. Do you have customers? Clearly, if you don't live in an area where you can get your food to very many people, you may want to think of something besides direct marketing. And then last, do you have a plan? And that's why we're here tonight, is to encourage you to get a plan. Well, a lot of times people are reluctant to get plans. They look at people like Richard Branson, who's famous with his many Virgin companies, as they're called, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Records. think he's in film, he's in a variety of different things. Well, he's often been known to brag that he never had a marketing plan when he started. He does now, but he didn't when he started. And a lot of times when I talk to farmers about marketing, they'll tell me, that it's all in their head. They don't need to really worry about having a plan. They know what they're doing. They know the people that they're talking to every day or every week at the farmers market. And it's just not important to them. So, plan, schplan, who cares? Well,